Welcome to the Mobile Healthcare EHR Getting Started tutorial. This tutorial is designed to help you get started with mobile healthcare so that you can log in, you can create new client records, understand the basics of our client portal and how to add visit records, and use all the basic features of our electronic healthcare record system. Mobile Healthcare EHR is available on the iPad, iPhone, and the Mac App Store. This tutorial will be done inside of an iPad 11-inch second generation to demonstrate how it is fully featured on the iPad device, as the iPad is our primary device. However, the app works perfectly well on the Mac as well. Mobile Healthcare EHR is a unique system in that it is an app, but that's also connected to the cloud. So mobile healthcare will work even if your internet drops out or if your internet is slow. It does not affect the performance of the application, as it stores up any changes that you make to any client records and then will synchronize them later once power or Wi-Fi is restored. So mobile healthcare will sync every 5 minutes in the background when there's Wi-Fi. And so if changes are made on any other devices or on your devices, they will show up automatically amongst all the devices within a few short minutes after you make changes. Once you sign up for mobile healthcare, you will have already created your practice name, email, and password through our website when you click on the sign up tab at mobilehealthcareehr.com. Once you download the app from the App Store, you will be taken to the login screen as shown right now in this video, where you can enter in your credentials and press sign on. In this case, we are going to press take a tour at the top, which you can also do if you want to view test information for the demo practice and play around with some test data. As soon as you log into Mobile Doula, it'll take you to the client list. As you can already see, there's quick tips that will pop up occasionally on the different tabs that you access. These quick tips can be viewed again by tapping on the question icon that's in the upper left-hand corner of every tab. This question icon will give you context-sensitive help, which will help you with any features that are on that page and can help you utilize mobile healthcare to its fullest extent. On our website, if you access the Features tab and then press How To, you will be able to view all of our videos that dive into different areas of mobile healthcare, such as our calendar features, messages, chat, our client portal, activity history, reminders and tasks, insurance claims, billing, and many other features. The client list screen will show you all of your clients that are currently active. If you inactivate any clients, they will be moved to the Inactive Client tab. The client list can be searched by tapping on the search box and typing in anything in the search box, such as the first two letters of their last name or the first letter of their first name, and it will create a filtered list as soon as you press enter. You can also sort and filter the client list using the different options that we have by pressing the gear icon in the upper right corner. Mobile healthcare is designed to have sections located along the bottom and then sub-tabs for each section located in the upper left-hand corner. In this case, we are in the Clients section, and our two sub-tabs are Clients and Inactive. We also have a Settings section where you can add users and configure your practice. We have a Task and Billing section where you can view tasks and outstanding invoices and accounts receivable for your entire practice. We have a Documents section where you can create fillable documents and templates such as financial agreements, consent forms, and handouts. And we have a Reports section where you can generate reports on all of your clients, all of your encounters with your clients, billing history, insurance claims, and many others. So currently on the client list screen, we can press Add Client by tapping Add Client in the upper right-hand corner. However, typically your clients, depending on how you operate your business, your clients will create their record by entering into the client portal through the unique client portal link that you will have when you sign up with Mobile Healthcare. Mobile Healthcare has a client portal that is accessible on all of our devices, all devices from Android to iPad or Apple or Chromebook. And so once you send the client portal link to your client, it will detect the device they're on and take them to the appropriate client portal that we have for that device so that they can sign documents and fill out their health history. Mobile Healthcare will send you an email as soon as they finish their client intake process, indicating to you that a new client has filled out their information and that they can and that they have signed documents and that you can review their information by logging into Mobile Healthcare. However, another option is to just have an iPad available at the front desk of your practice if you have an office location, and clients can utilize that iPad to create their client record. So right now we're going to create a client record by pressing Add Client in the upper right corner. We're going to press Start Here. And then in this case, we're going to choose Decline Picture. Now, most of your clients will probably take a profile picture, and because that's part of the sign-up process, and that helps you sort of have a more personal feel with their health record and jog your memory as to who they are. So once we create a client record, we are taken to the Client Info section, as highlighted here on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. And there are 4 sub-tabs on the left-hand side, which is the Basic tab, which captures their basic demographic information, their insurance information, which this section can be removed under Settings if you don't take insurance. And then there's the Health section, which captures their health history, their medications, their allergies. And then the Summary section, which allows them to sign and confirm everything that they've filled out, and it takes a snapshot of everything at that time and saves it to a snapshot. So for now, I'm going to close this new record and then open a existing record so you can get an idea of what a client record will look like when it's fully populated. So here I just opened this client, and under the Summary tab we can see all their information as we scroll through here. We can sign at the bottom and press Signature Complete, and we can see that snapshot here on the right hand side, which we can open at any time and view what the client record looked like at the time that it was initially populated. At the end of each tab, the client will press Next Step, or they can just tap on the next tab. In this case, if they press Next Step, it'll take them to the Documents section, where they can sign any consent forms, financial agreements, or view any handouts you may have provided to them. The documents here will also be under your practice during your 30-day free trial, and they're primarily here just as an example to show you what you can do with the document template feature. They're not really designed to be used. Typically, you will start with your own consent forms in some type of word processor, such as Google Docs or Microsoft Word, and then you will save it as a PDF and import it into Mobile Healthcare. And from there you can drop check boxes, text boxes, signature boxes, wherever applicable. In this case, I'm just going to put in some test information here to demonstrate how this is used. Enter some initials, enter a signature. I'm going to press Save. Now this document gets moved to their Signed Documents section. And if the client attempts to submit their client record without signing all the documents, they are warned several times that there's still outstanding documents, but it will let them submit it. And so once you finish reviewing a client record and making sure they signed all their documents, you would typically go to the Visit section once they come into the office, or if you do telehealth visits, if you visit with them over the phone or using Doxy or whatever it is you might use. And you can press Add Visit in the upper right corner. And here you can either choose to add a normal encounter a normal visit, or you can add a contact visit, which is basically documenting a phone contact or email, or you can add a referral so you can document if you referred this client to another provider. In this case, we're going to choose Add Visit. You can choose the visit location, the reason for the visit, and depending on what reasons that you choose, the fields on the screen will be modified accordingly to be applicable for that visit. You can choose to use the SOAP format, which is the Subjective Objective Assessment Plan layout. And so in that case, I'm going to choose yes. You can document a review of systems. We have multiple forms of all of our physical exams and review of systems in order to meet the needs of different types of charting. And in each of the sections, there's a comments field. So in this case, we'll just type in a test comment. Then you can enter the vitals into the objective section. You can choose yes to a physical exam. Again, there are multiple options here. You can choose a clinical exam or just the standard exam. Each of them have a set all normal option, so you can easily check everything off if everything is good. And in this comment section, we're going to follow the suggestion of this watermark, which says to type ZZZ to insert a template text from your reminders list. And we will talk more about that at the end of the video. But here I'm just going to demonstrate it, basically how it works by typing ZZZ. I'm presented with the various note templates that are available. And so in this case, I'm just going to choose a routine checkup template. And these, of course, are editable, so you can create whatever text templates you like. And we can tab through the different underscored areas and quickly type in different options. Moving along to the assessment section, I can add a diagnosis code. You can choose from the favorites list, or you can drill down through the entire ICD-10 list by sections and enter a diagnosis code. These can easily be copied to an insurance claim or a super bill that you want to send to the insurance company or give to the client for reimbursement. It's the same with procedure codes. We have the entire procedure code database, and there's also a favorites list which you can edit to your own liking. We have a completed reminders feature here, which allows you to keep track of different canned items that were completed during the visit. Oops, so in this case, I'm going to tap on the reminder icon at the top. I'm going to begin to check off different items that were completed in this visit. And those items will be recorded under this completed reminders section. And you can add additional notes to each reminder to further document what occurred. Once you're complete with the visit, you can press save. And then you can view it in the flowchart. If you press show details on the flowchart, it'll show you all the information in a concise manner because it only shows what's been filled out. So you can quickly scroll through and review the information. You can press sign off if you want to sign off on those visits, and that will lock them down so they're not editable. Also along the left-hand side here, we see other sub-tabs in the visit section, which include labs. Obviously, you can integrate any of your lab providers, lab companies, pathology companies, ultrasound companies, radiology with mobile healthcare EHR. And you just simply call them up, tell them to send your information to mobile healthcare EHR, and they should already have us in our system. And those results will flow directly into the appropriate patient chart automatically. But if something is unmatched, you'll get a notification and intuitive instructions on how to address that. We have a problems list which gets pulled from the client intake. Any problems they entered in the various parts of their record will get pulled into here. You can update those problems, resolve them, change notes or whatever. The meds tab and the allergies tab work the same. They're also pulled from the client intake history, and you can keep those sections up to date as time goes on. Anything that's of importance, such as active allergies or medications, also get displayed in the core client information section at the top, so that at a glance, when you're under any section, you'll be able to quickly reference things that are important, such as allergies that they have. You'll notice a Messages tab in the lower left-hand corner. This is the tab that allows you to correspond with your patient using our robust messaging feature that's based on email. You can send a message from their record to the client, and they will receive an email at the email address that they entered during the client intake process. If they respond to that email, that response will get recorded under their chart, and that response will also be emailed to the provider. If you as the provider respond to that email, it will also get recorded under their chart, and your email address is obfuscated from them so that they don't actually see your email address. They see an email address from Mobile Healthcare. So in that respect, it works very similar to the way forums and threads have worked for a long time. And however, this has a robust recipient list feature, so you can actually send a message not just to the patient, but you can send a message to maybe your office manager regarding the patient, asking them to order a lab, or you could send a message to a group of other providers that you want to consult with regarding the patient. You can add an attachment of their client chart or a document by pressing Add Attachment. You can choose from pre-canned message templates that you can create. By default, we create 3 for you. One of those is the client access invitation. Typically, we recommend that you send them the generic client access invitation to create a new record. And the way that works is you can go under the Settings Account tab, which we'll review at the end of this video, and press Email Client Access URL, and that will email them an invitation to your portal, and they'll create a new record. However, if you already have a record for them, you can send them the client access invitation, and that will give them their login information so they can access their record. So you can also create other canned messages. Maybe you have different types of messages for the different prognoses, diagnoses, or whatever. And so some of our practices have literally hundreds of them. So you can also create messages to go out at certain scheduled intervals so you can provide education to your patients. So moving along the bottom here, we also have a tasks and billing section. And as the name suggests, it's where you can create tasks or billing entries for the patient. The task section allows you to create a task and assign it to someone else in the practice. The task can be marked at different urgent levels. The task can be have a due date or just be open-ended. And when you assign it to someone else in your practice, it will send them an Apple notification, and when they log into the app, it'll appear in their task list. And you can view all the outstanding tasks at the practice level under the tasks and billing section at the practice level, which we will review at the end of this video. The billing section allows you to create a billing invoice, which is very robust in that you can create charges and then apply payments to specific charges, and then generate an invoice which you can email to the client. You can provide insurance adjustments, refunds, write-offs, everything that you would expect to see in a typical robust invoicing and electronic practice management system. The insurance claim feature allows you to create insurance claims, whether it's institutional or professional, and you can send that insurance claim electronically to the insurance company, or you can print it out and mail it to them. And it will print on existing CMS 1500 paper stock, or it'll actually print the entire CMS 1500 for you, which of course that depends on insurance companies you send it to, what they accept. And so additionally, we have an activity tab, which you can use to see all the activity under a client record: who logged in, who made what changes, what the before and after values were, when the change was made from which device, and the person who logged in, you can see what buttons they pressed, what part of the record they viewed. It's a very robust activity log. We also have an activity log at the practice level, so you can view activity for an entire login session for a particular user, or view all the activity for all the activities for all users. Lastly is the Documents tab, which we already reviewed. You can press the camera icon to snap a picture of a document or of anything really that you would like to be attached to the client record. We have a link button along the top, which allows you to link a client record with another client record if you've got duplicate records. You can also merge records or duplicate records using our merge client feature or our copy client feature. You can export a record by going to our action menu here, which is the square with the upward arrow, and you can choose email via messages if you want to email part of the record to somebody using the message feature. You can print it, you can open it into another app, and you can also go into split screen mode so you can pull up different parts of a client record in parallel. Alright, so I'm going to drop back down to the practice level by pressing on the home icon in the upper left hand corner. Now that I'm back at the client list, I have access to all the other practice level sections along the bottom. First, we're going to go to Reports here on the far right. Here's the Activity tab, which I mentioned earlier regarding the ability to see all activity across the entire practice. There's a Reports tab, which allows you to generate spreadsheet reports that you can email to yourself or open into Excel directly, or the Numbers app for various reports, such as a report of all your clients, all the visits and encounters, billing history, various insurance claim reports, and so forth. And we can always modify it to meet the needs of your practice. Here you can view all the labs or pathology reports that come into the practice and see any labs that are unmatched. The Synchronized section is nothing that you need to go to. However, it can be handy to understand or diagnose problems where if you're not seeing your app synchronize. Typically you will never need to come here. However, it is a nice place to be able to see if the iPad is syncing, and if not, you can force it to sync and then see a detailed error, which is usually if you just don't have a good Wi-Fi connection. The Documents section allows you to view your templates. This is where you can add document templates that are visible to your patients, or you can add templates that are just worksheets that the provider utilizes that are not visible to the client portal. And again, we have a video tutorial on that, or you can press the question icon in the upper left hand corner to get details. The Practice Documents sub-tab here is typically for just putting practice level documents such as certifications or practice policies and other documents you want to be able to reference or have all your other stakeholders be able to reference in the practice. The Tasks and Billing section allows you to view all the tasks at the practice level and even create practice-only level tasks. You can view all the billing invoices, claims, ERAs, and configure insurance under this section as well. Lastly, we have the Settings section, which is the place you want to go at first once you sign up with Mobile Healthcare. So you can add user records. Here you can add a user record simply by pressing Add New User in the upper right corner. And the key items you want to put in are the username, email, and password, and choose their role. You can get real detailed with our powerful permission level features You can create users that have view-only access or users that only have explicit access to certain patients. And then we have the visit reminders feature, which we already briefly reviewed when we created a visit record earlier in the video. Here you can edit those, you can create new groups, you can move them around or edit their text. You can also make them required so that if you mark them as required and then you go back to the client list, you'll see that every client has a little blue icon to the right, and it contains the first two letters of that reminder. In this case, the first two letters are client because the reminder was called client intake filled out. And if you check off that item, so in this case, I'm going to open this test patient. And I'm going to check off that required reminder, which is highlighted in red. I'm going to indicate that it's performed. Then you'll notice that this patient's record has a green check mark to indicate that all the reminders are complete, all the required ones are complete for this client, because you may have many reminders. And so that way at a glance you can easily see if there's any required outstanding items to be done on a client record. And this system is utilized separately or in parallel with our tasks and billing features so that you can make sure that nothing gets left undone. The text template feature we also briefly reviewed by typing ZZZ into a notes field, which allowed you to choose from any of these text templates, which you can add your own or edit these. The key thing to know here is that wherever you put underscores, that's where you can easily tab through and change. However, most people who are familiar with electronic health records have already utilized a similar feature. We have our message settings feature and then our message templates, which allows you to create canned templates for messages to email to your clients. And lastly, but not least, and possibly the most important, is the account sub-tab, which allows you to modify your practice details, which are going to already be pre-populated here from what you entered into the sign-up screen on mobilehealthcareehr.com. The email client access URL button is here, which we mentioned earlier on how you can send an invitation to your unique client portal URL by tapping on this button. It'll generate an email that you can send to any client. A lot of people will email it to themselves and modify the verbiage of it and put their logo and their own salutation, and they'll save it off to a folder in their email client. And then you can easily access that to forward it to new clients as you need them. Some practices will place that client URL, access URL, on their website somewhere. So that's another option. And then most importantly, here's your question configuration section. This is where you can modify key features in the application simply by toggling one of the yes/no buttons. For instance, you can include the financial information section or hide it. If you do or don't take insurance, you'll want to toggle that accordingly. And as you scroll to the bottom, this is where you can update your billing information for mobile healthcare if your credit card number changes or whatever. One thing we did not cover is the chat feature. We have another video on that, which is it's just a direct messaging feature that allows you to communicate using a similar type SMS texting feature. But we have another video on that does a deep dive so you can understand how to utilize that. One last thing I want to cover is that mobile healthcare does not have a scheduling system built in. However, you'll notice that there's a calendar icon on most screens that allows you to view upcoming appointments and schedule new appointments for your patients. However, it allows you to view your calendars that are configured on your device. So whether that be a simple Google Calendar or Yahoo Calendar, or maybe you have 10 different calendars, calendars for your facility, calendars for your staff, or your patient visits and appointments. It'll integrate them all together and let you view them and schedule appointments onto any of those calendars. But we do have another video that's also addresses how to schedule appointments inside of mobile healthcare. All right, well, thank you for listening to our mobile healthcare getting started tutorial. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to give us a call or contact us by emailing ehrsupport@mobilehealthcareehr.com. Again, thank you for joining.